Okay, guys, welcome to the Chosen One podcast show. If you landed on this podcast episode, you are probably a manifesting generator and a female entrepreneur, coach, or expert. So, welcome. Take a cup of tea and binge listen to all the amazing episodes I have set up for you. Episodes to help you create the right energy and mindset to create the manifesting generator business and life of your dreams. Here we go. Okay, my loves, I'm very, very excited for this particular episode, which is all about relationships. And I think relationships are such an interesting topic to speak about because we encounter them all the time, right? As a human being, and of course, we're just like spirits living a physical experience, but sometimes we can, like, the thing that gets me most, like, okay, let me rephrase this. As a human being, we sometimes tend to forget that we are actually here as spirit living a physical experience, right? And there are like 3 triggers that can actually really help us forget that part, right? So money is 1, relationships is 2, and the third one is sickness or illness or your health, right? The interesting thing is it all has to do with relationships because money is your relationship with money. I mean like relationships with other human beings. And then the third one is your relationship with health. But it all includes relationships. And today I thought it would be so interesting to go into a 6-step process that I use to unidentify with any relationship struggle I have. And it doesn't matter if it's my relationship with money, with health, or with other people, but it's a 6-step process I always use. And I actually created a cheat sheet to go along with this specific episode because I really feel this is one that you want to download and save somewhere on your phone or on your computer because you will get triggered again. I mean, this happens to us all the time. It's part of our physical experience to go through these triggers and to learn from them and then actually remember on a deeper level, oh my God, I'm not just a human being who's gonna die and the world ends. No, I'm so much more than that. I'm just like here for a temporary time, and after I die, which is not even true, I go on and my spirit just continues to live. But the way the world is designed, the way we have been designed, is we are given these specific relationships to help us remember on a deeper level who we actually are. So since you will be triggered again, I really want to encourage you to download this cheat sheet and to just save it because it will benefit you. And there are like very clear steps, and just like saving that file, the only thing you have to do the next time you get triggered is like get the file and go through the steps again and be like, oh yes, now I remember. And it's gonna be so beneficial for you because from my own experience, I know how extremely difficult it can be when we are triggered by specific relationships, either in-person relationships or money relationship or health relationship, and it can get you like into this spiral, right? Into this spiral of thoughts and feelings of not feeling good enough and self-doubt and all of that stuff. And you really don't want to get caught up in those thoughts because that is not really the purpose of those things happening to you. Triggers are really meant for us to remember on a deeper level who we are, and they are not designed to actually get us into a spiral of self-doubt and self-unlove, I would almost say, right? Because that really stagnates us in our growth. The thing we need for growth is always a unconditional love to ourselves and to other people, but mainly to ourselves. And from that mindset, from that energy, we can actually attract in all the desires and miracles that we desire. And it's also like the basis of a successful online business. And of course, I speak about this a lot, that it's so important for us as manifesting generators to have a unconditional acceptance for ourselves, to really step into the role of the unapologetic mindset, and to really understand that we are here and designed in a specific way. And the only way we can really live our dream life and our dream business and attract in paying clients, amazing paying clients, I have to say, because, oh my goodness, I have amazing paying clients. Which is something different than paying clients. That's very different. Believe me, I've been there as well. And the only way we can actually achieve that is by fully embracing who we are on the deepest level. So I want to take you through a 6-step process I've designed for myself actually, but I put it in the cheat sheet. And we're going to start off with the first step. And the first step is actually to become aware of the physical sensations you're feeling when you are being triggered. Okay. So I think one of the secrets that I have a very beautiful relationship with my husband, and we've been together for over 20 years, is because I do not over-identify with my physical sensations when he triggers me. A lot of people in love relationships get triggered by each other and immediately over-identify with their physical sensations. They actually don't over-identify, they mistake their physical sensations for their emotions. And that is like a very big no-no. You don't want to confuse those two. So what happens when we get triggered in situations? What happens is that we actually first feel a physical sensation. And for me, when I get really triggered, it's mostly a sensation of that I confuse with fear or anger. And the sensations I tend to feel is that my heart starts going faster, that my breath gets higher, that it feels like somebody is kicking me in the stomach, and all my how do you say that? My muscles get tensed. That is the physical sensation that I feel when I get triggered in a negative way. There's no such thing as negative, but you get what I mean. So we tend to forget this step because we tend to label whatever happens right away as, oh my God, I'm angry, or oh my God, I'm fearful, or oh my God, I'm sad. But actually, before we can make that interpretation, something happens first, and that is the physical reaction. So I want you, the next time you get triggered in any situation, this can also be by a client, right? If you get triggered into a situation, first identify, what am I physically feeling? Okay, so that is the first step. After you accomplish that, I want you to determine what is actually being triggered, what response is being triggered. So from a psychology standpoint, we are either going into fight modus or flight modus. So I want you to identify what kind of person you are. Do you tend to withdraw an energy, or do you tend to attack? In my case, I always I want to withdraw, and then sometimes I attack out of fear of like, oh my God, don't get too close. But my initial reaction most of the time is that I want to withdraw and like flight from the situation. That is my first reaction. Some people are like super aggressive and they go like I'm aggressive inwards and some people are more aggressive outwards, right? So I want you to determine that, like, what is the response being triggered? And then the third step is super important. So you think you have an emotion, but the only reason why you think you have an emotion is because you interpret those physical reactions as an emotion. It is just a physical reaction. And if you think about this, when you are super excited, you also get a higher heartbeat. You also tend to feel like something is in your stomach, right? You also have a higher breathing. This also happens when we are super excited, but when it happens in a positive setting, we think, oh my God, I'm excited. But when those physical sensations happen in a situation that doesn't feel pleasant, we label it as, oh my God, I'm fearful, or oh my God, I am angry, or oh my God, I have anxiety. So the third step, super important, is to understand that it's just a interpretation. And I want you to then tell yourself, this is just a physical reaction on an old physical trauma, and it has nothing to do with me. Okay, so why is this sentence so important? I truly believe that we all have had past life experiences, because when you look at some things in your life, how heavy they trigger you, you have to admit that if you look back at your life, it is an overreaction. That, like, you're like, if I look at my life, I'm like, nothing so sincere happened to me that I have to react so intensively on these situations. So I know for a fact that the root of this stuff is in past life experiences. You have to remember that, like, a couple of hundred of years ago, life was way more threatening to us than it currently is. If you were a manifesting generator like us, and you were very outspoken, and you were into like spirits and all of that stuff, I mean, you would be viewed as a witch, and you would be thrown on the fire, or you would be thrown into the water, and you would be drowned, or you would be hanged on a horrible thing that they can hang people on, right? So we have very traumatic experiences in past life experiences, which are still having their effect in our current life. But it is not the reality anymore. It's just like the codes are still embedded in our body. And because we keep identifying with it, we keep like strengthening it, right? So everything that you give attention, that keeps being activated. If you don't give it attention anymore, it gets burned out, right? So if you keep giving wood to the fire, it keeps burning. If you stop giving wood to the fire, the fire stops burning. This is what we want you to do from now on when it comes to triggers. So you have to accept that the reaction you are getting is just a physical reaction based on past life experiences. And as long as you don't give it wood anymore, it will burn out. So just tell yourself, this trigger, this physical experience, this physical sensation is just a reaction on an old trauma, which is not currently actually my reality anymore. It has nothing to do with me anymore. It's just a old conditioned reaction. Super important step, okay? So then the next step is to allow your body to go through these sensations and tell your body that she is safe, okay? So this is super important. Your body doesn't know. Your body is just responding. It has this automatic response. So you need to tell her it's safe. You need to tell her it's safe. You're safe. It's okay. It will burn. It will slow down. What tends to happen, and you probably recognize this, is when you get triggered, you tend to put food on the fire. You identify it with it. You identify with the emotion. You go out to people, talk about it, make it even stronger, put more fuel on the fire, gets bigger, gets bigger, gets bigger. And then before you know, it's like, oh my God, I am this emotion, right? So we want to decondition your body away from this emotion. We want to teach your body that it's safe, okay? So very important that you keep repeating step 3. And then step 4 is to allow your body to go through the sensations and tell your body that she's safe. It's not going to be fixed overnight, because this is like a remembrance code in our body that's been there for hundreds of years. So it's not going to go away in a second, but becoming aware is already a huge, huge step. And you will notice that the longer and the more you do this, the more your body will relax in those kind of situations. This is literally practice. And the beautiful part of it once you start practicing with this, you actually start looking forward to your next confrontation with somebody, because you're like, oh my God, now I have another opportunity to practice this, right? So you're, instead of resisting the thing, you are welcoming it. And that's the beauty of energy work as well. If you come to the place that you start welcoming things and you're no longer resisting it, then it actually can dissolve, right? You cannot dissolve something that you are resisting, but that's a completely different topic. Okay, then the the next step, the step 5, is look yourself in the eye and tell yourself, I love you, I see you, and you are amazing. So if you have the opportunity, after being triggered, after you have identified the sensations, after you have told yourself this is just an old conditioned reaction, after you allowed yourself to feel the feelings, then go to a mirror and tell yourself, I love you, I see you, and you are amazing. And then the final step, super important, simply go on with your day. Okay, now I have actually put an additional tip in the freebie, in the cheat sheet. So if you download the cheat sheet, you will find an additional tip, which is very, very helpful to actually deal with the triggers in the moment. Because in the moment, you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm dying. In the beginning, you are still going to identify with the emotion. And this additional tip will totally help you to get calm again. So go on and download the cheat sheet. And like I said, just remember that in the beginning, it might take your body a couple of hours, sometimes even days, to get calm. Be patient, be gentle, be sweet. And yes, I hope this episode is so helpful for you. And if it was, make sure to let me know on either a review or on Instagram, or send me an email if you want to. I love reading the feedback, and not from, that's interesting because I have such an individual profile as a manifesting generator. It's not that I need it, but I do like it. But I'm not too bothered to hear from you what it does for you. Okay, let me put it differently. If you feel that it's beneficial for you to let me know how this episode helps you, be free. You're more than welcome to. You don't have to do it for me. But if you feel like, oh my God, I wish I could let Sophie know how amazing I found this episode, but I feel sort of like weird of telling her, that is like, you don't have to listen to that voice. You can always send me if something comes up for you, but you don't have to do it for me. Do it for yourself. Okay, guys, go to the link in the bio, download the cheat sheet, and have an amazing, amazing day. Love you guys.